Hello friends and strangers, I am Heli and in this video I am taking you with me into our life, beginnings and always. Last time we took a look at the sand castle, and this time I was thinking we could explore Sleepover.
Okay.
Alright kids, we're done with dinner. Come to the table. Your stomach grumbled right on time, as if it had heard your mom's words. You halted your game and looked over. Mom was almost done setting the table. She was walking around the mahogany wood in the process of putting down cutlery. Mommy was still in the kitchen, humming under her breath as she turned off the stove and put empty pots in the sink to wash. From beside you, Lizzie stirred, uncrossing her legs and standing up. She stretched her arms above her head. Finally, I'm ready to eat. Then she cast a sly glance in your direction. You recognized that look. Last one to the table is a rotten egg. I haven't... But it was too late. Lizzie had already bolted towards the kitchen. Let's stay sitting. There was no reason for you to run after her. You never agreed to the race in the first place. You crossed your arms over your chest and just watched instead. It was a short distance to the kitchen table. Lizzie managed to get there easily enough, slapping a hand over the wood. Mom moved just before Lizzie could bump into her. With an exasperated sigh, she resumed her work. I win again. Let's not bother arguing with her. I won. That means you're the rotten egg. Lizzie grinned, her hands on her hips, then looked over your shoulder. Cove, you think so too, right? You blinked. You'd almost forgotten about him. The fact that Cove preferred to keep to himself didn't help matters either. You spotted Cove still on the floor. His legs were crossed beneath him, the arm with the cast resting in his lap. He looked at the two of you with a slight frown. It felt sort of strange to see him still there so late. Tonight, Cove had come to your house for a sleepover. Your mom's and his dad had planned it a few days ago. You hadn't expected it when your moms told you, but you didn't mind Cove sleeping over. It was just for one night. Even if he's not really your friend, he isn't the worst person in the world. Cove pursed his lips at Lizzie's question, but he didn't respond. Maybe he was planning on ignoring her, not that Lizzie would make it easy. This wasn't the first time she had asked him to be a referee for one of her sudden races.
Come on!
Well, did I win or what? Cove still didn't respond. He turned away, refusing to weigh in. Lizzie glowered, but it had no effect. Fine. You don't have to say so. You can both be rotten eggs. That's enough. Nobody here is a loser or a rotten egg. You're each farm fresh. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say.
All right.
Now listen to Mom and come sit at the table for dinner. All three of you. You and Lizzie obeyed, sitting across from each other at the edge of the table. Lizzie blew a raspberry at you when Mom turned her back. Your parents brought the last of the food, then they took seats further down the table instead of sitting right next to you and Lizzie. Only Cove was left out. He had stood up from his spot on the floor, but he hadn't made a move towards the kitchen. Cove, you can sit too. Slowly, he eyed the 4 seats that were left. Thanks to the new seating arrangement your parents chose, one free chair was beside you, another next to Lizzie, and the last 2 were on the other side of where your moms were sitting. Let's see, it's his first time sleeping over at our place, and he's a bit shy maybe. So perhaps it would make him feel more at ease if we were to invite him to sit next to us. He hung his head and scuttled past you, Lizzie, and your moms. He went to the chair on the opposite edge of the table and sat down. It seemed being far away is what he wanted. Your moms frowned. You shrugged it off and turned back to your plate. Now that everyone was situated, Mommy began to pass out plates.
Okay.
Dig in, kids. I cooked a little bit of everything for dinner tonight. Be sure not to avoid all of the veggies.
Ugh.
Yes, Mom. Each person at the table served themselves, except for one. Cove hesitated again. He fidgeted with his hands clamped on the top of his knees. He didn't seem very comfortable doing stuff in someone else's house. One dish seemed to have his eye at least. That's pineapple chicken. Wanna try some? Not really. Sorry. By then, your moms had noted that Gove still had nothing on his plate as well. Do you not like any of the food, honey?
Well,
maybe he hasn't tried Hawaiian food before. He hasn't? Wow. Please don't talk with your mouth full, Lizzie. Lizzie swallowed the bite she was eating, then she spoke again. He should try it now. She turned to Cove dramatically. Unless you want to shrink, that's what happens if you miss a meal. Elizabeth, that's not true. You know that. Cove squirmed under all the attention. He fidgeted with a fork between his fingers. I've had some things, just not any of this.
oh shoot.
I knew I should have asked your dad what your favorite foods were. It's alright, Lonnie. Maybe he'll find a new favorite today. You weren't so sure about that. Cove didn't look like he was going to be trying any of the food anytime soon. Yeah, okay, let's recommend something. I think you would like the pineapple chicken. It's yummy. Eventually, Cove carefully spooned the rice and pineapple onto his plate. Maybe because he didn't know what else to do at that point. You saw that he avoided the veggies entirely. Your moms let him get away with not taking the vegetables. At first, Cove poked at the food. Clearly, he was apprehensive to eat something new. But he took a few exploratory bites.
Right?
It's good, huh? Isn't it? You don't have to keep asking. He still speared more meat with his fork and ate it, chewing thoughtfully. It's not bad. Mommy grinned at his words, satisfied, even though it wasn't exactly a glowing commendation. Lizzie wasn't as mollified. You're so weird. Don't be mean to your friend. We're not friends.
Oh.
Mummy floundered in the face of Cove's blunt honesty. It seems strange that your mummy was taken aback by the news. When had they gotten along? And you didn't consider yourself to be friends with him either. As far as you were concerned, he was your neighbor and nothing else. Your mummy looked at Mom and only got a shrug.
No.
Elizabeth, don't call someone weird. There's no such thing as a weird person and a non-weird person. There's just different perspectives. It's not a nice thing to say to someone, anyone, but Pam. Mommy tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. Her attempt to make it audible over the sounds of clanking silverware meant that you caught the quiet words anyway. They're not friends. He said so. As parents, we can only try and sometimes we fail. Not all kids will be thick as thieves. Now, less talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon. But Mom... No buts. We've talked about this. Your bedtime will be moved back in a few years. For now, you don't get to stay up late. Lizzie sulked, muttering under her breath about how it wasn't right. Let's stay quiet and finish our meal. It was good food and you were pretty content to just keep eating. That's the idea. Good job, Hazel. Everyone else, get to it. The rest of dinner passed by uneventfully. Cove was silent for most of it, even when your moms attempted to include him in conversation. All too soon, the table was cleared, the games in the living room were put away, and you were all steered to your bedrooms. Mom finished tucking you in and kissed your brow, just as Mommy poked her head into the room. All ready for lights off, you two? You were lying comfortably in your bed, the blanket hiked up under your armpits. You could kick it off later if it got too hot. Mom had set up the sleeping bag on the floor for Cove, just beside your bed. He had already wiggled inside. I think so.
Good night.
Perfect. I'll go say goodnight to Lizzie then. Mom tweaked your nose, chuckled when you squawked in annoyance, and left. Mommy took her place, sitting on the edge of your bed.
Sweet dreams.
She pressed a soft kiss on your forehead. You giggled as strands of her hair fell forward and tickled you. Mummy smiled down affectionately at you, then moved her attention to Cove, who watched from his spot on the floor. Do you need anything before falling asleep, honey? What does your dad do? Sometimes he picks me up and lifts me really high, and he shakes his hands like he's gonna let go, but then he catches me again. He keeps doing that until sometimes he does drop me on my bed, or other times he lowers me down and we pretend like I'm crashing. Cove had become pretty excited when talking about the nightly ritual he and his dad shared. He seemed to realize how animated he was and bashfully quieted. But I don't want to do that here.
Aww.
How fun! Though I think you're right, that it might not be a good idea to do that tonight. The sleeping bag might not be a soft enough landing. If there's anything else, you can always ask me or Hazel's other mom. But I'm the nicer one, just don't tell her that. She laughed good-naturedly and stood up.
Take care.
Sleep well, Cove. Night. Leaning against the door jamb, she rested a hand on the light switch and looked to you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. With a last smile, Mummy turned off the lights and stepped out, closing the bedroom door behind her. You listened to her footsteps fade as she walked down the hallway. You closed your eyes and snuggled in, prepared to drift off. You started when Cove sighed deeply. You turned your head to look in his direction. In the dark, you could only see a faint outline of a lamp under the covers. Cove? What's wrong? I can't sleep. Why not? He shifted, or at least you thought he did. You couldn't see anything since your eyes were still adjusting to the dark, but you heard his sleeping bag rustle. I want to be in my bed. Oh. Cove sat up. Your eyes had gotten used to the low light level, so you could see him better. He got out of the sleeping bag, wobbled towards your side table, and pulled open the top drawer. What is it? I'm getting my glasses. You sat up too, watching as he reached inside. He paused for a second, then pulled his hand out. Instead of his glasses, though, he was holding a book. Cove turned it around in his hands, trying to figure out the proper orientation for it. You knew even without reading the title which one it was. That was one your moms would read to you. It was special. I thought you were looking for your glasses. I was, then I felt this. It looks cool. The compliment he afforded your special book had you grinning, your confusion forgotten. It's really cool.
Oh?
What's it about? It's a story about a squire who wants to become a knight, and there's magic. Does it have mermaids? No, but... It has cool pictures. Some of them even take up the whole page. Maybe we could look at those pictures together. There's this one where the squire and a dragon meet. They're fighting, so the poses are awesome and the dragon's breathing fire. You only realized afterward that you spoke more strongly than you had meant to. Your cheeks burned. This must have been how Cove felt earlier. Thankfully, Cove didn't seem annoyed. In fact, if you didn't know any better, it seemed like he liked the explanation. Usually, Cove sported a disinterested expression on his face, or a sad one. You could probably count the number of times you'd seen him smile on one hand. Right now, though, he looked excited as he flipped the book over and focused at the backside to try learning more. You were reminded of the hours you'd spent hearing the tales. No matter how many times you read it or had it read to you, you were still entertained by the story and pictures inside. You glanced out the window. The moon was high in the sky. You wanted to read the book with Cove. I mean, if he can't sleep. You climbed out of bed and padded over to your side table. You opened it and rummaged around, pushing aside stuffed toys and crayons. Cove called out to you in a confused whisper. What are you doing? Getting something we need. You let out a quiet cry of victory when you found what you were looking for. You jumped back onto the bed before any hidden boogeyman could catch you unaware. Cove continued to watch as you wiggled your way beneath the blanket you'd discarded earlier. You pulled it up over your head. You have to come over here. Bring the book too. After a minute, the bed dipped as Cove got on it. Then the blanket shifted. You fiddled with the flashlight in your grip, feeling for the switch. With a click, the small space flooded with bright light. Cove sputtered, putting a hand up to shield himself from the beam. Move it somewhere else. Sorry. You hurriedly tilted the flashlight so it was shining down at the floor of your blanket cave and away from Cove's sensitive eyes. Now we can read, and my moms won't know. I don't know. Are we the kind of person who'd do this all the time? Let's say I've never tried something like this before. But I'm not that tired, and I want to read this again. And you can't sleep, so... You shrugged. It had made better sense in your head at the time. Do you want to try? Cove nodded. Pleased by his straightforward response, you placed the book between you and flipped it open to the first page. Meanwhile, he laid down on his belly and shuffled closer, picking up the flashlight to shine it on the pages. His face was illuminated with a warm glow. You mirrored his position, leaning in so you could see the book better. Your foreheads nearly brushed until you shuffled back a comfortable distance. Maybe we could flip through the pages and look at the pictures. Look. You passed through the book rapidly, stopping at a familiar picture. Cove sucked in a breath at the sight, leaning in closer to inspect it. The whole page was dedicated to the drawing. In it, the squire was battling the dragon. It was before the two of them would realize that they have a lot in common and should be friends. The squire was bringing their sword down on the dragon with all their might, but the dragon managed to hold them back using a giant clawed hand.
Wow.
Isn't it cool? Oh, and there's another one like this too. You resumed flipping through the pages, only pausing on the next art piece. This is the part where the squire and the dragon fight the king and his knights. The two of you read the book in fits and starts, focusing more on the detailed images. Cove wasn't annoyed though, he looked enthralled. His eyes were following the text, a soft smile lighting up his features. A lock of his hair fell into his field of vision, but he gave it no notice. He was lost in the story. Your eyelids started to droop. When your eyes opened again, your bedroom was pitch black and silent. Your head was smushed in your pillow. Your pajamas were sticking to you and your mouth was dry. Slowly, you raised yourself onto your elbows. You yawned, the back of your throat twinging as you did so. You rolled onto your side to sit up in bed, planning on getting water from the kitchen, when you saw a dark shape towering above you. You froze. Then you remembered you weren't alone in your room tonight. Cove, that you?
Yeah.
You shifted and felt something cylindrical pressed against your thigh. You fumbled for it. The familiar weight of the flashlight pressed into your palm. You turned it on. Cove blinked at you, looking exhausted. He was in his normal clothes again, shoes and everything. His pajama pants were left on the floor, abandoned. His sleeping bag was in a similar state. What is it? Can't sleep. I keep waking up. Did you have a bad dream? He shook his head from side to side. No, just can't sleep. It's weird here. You frowned. You'd helped your mom's redecorate it only a few months back. I like my room. It's weird to me. I wanna sleep in my bed. I'm gonna go. What? Dad shook off the last of your doziness. He was going to walk outside, back to his own house? This time of night? All by himself? He noted your shocked expression and looked at you with resolve. My dad will let me in, and I've gone outside late before and I have to go. You don't have to. It would be bad to go out now, and my moms really won't like it if you're not here when they get up. It's gonna be fine. Dad can call them in the morning, or you could tell them I went home before they got here. They won't know it was at night. You pursed your lips at that. You supposed you could do that. Your moms wouldn't be worried that way, and at this point you were sure you couldn't stop him, so you nodded. Okay. Cove was already at the door by then. He turned the knob and opened it. Good night. Night. And just like that, he was gone. You were left blinking wearily at the closed door. You dropped your head to the pillow, closed your eyes, and settled in as best you could. You were getting sleepy again. Your very last thought was that the sleepover had been not very successful. The next morning, you were woken by the sound of Mom's voice and a soft shake on your shoulder. Hazel, wake up. It's time to get up and Adam. The sun was peeking through the curtains, and you rubbed at your eyes as they adjusted to the new light. Cove's already out of bed. You blinked at her for a moment, confused, until you caught the empty sleeping bag on the ground and remembered what had happened during the night. But I didn't see him out there. I wonder where he's gotten off to so early. You hesitated, giving Mom a look with your mouth hanging half open as your mind processed what to tell her.
Everything okay?
Cove couldn't sleep. He said my room was weird.
What?
Where is Cove now? Did he sleep on the couch? Mom was still looking at you expectantly, but as you started to explain what had happened, you were interrupted by Mummy calling from downstairs, saying Mr. Holden was at the door. You could tell by the way that Mom's forehead crinkled that she was even more concerned. When she turned to head downstairs, you pulled back the covers and jumped out of bed to follow her. Cliff, how are you? Mom joined Mummy at the door while you hovered at the bottom of the stairs and peeked around the corner. You saw Cove's dad standing just outside. He was alone. You wondered if Cove had gotten home. So, I'm out of the loop on what happened, but Cove showed up back home in the middle of the night. Mr. Holden was much more serious than you were used to. Maybe this was a bigger thing than you had thought it was. Your moms exchanged a matching pair of surprised looks, Mummy gasping and covering her mouth with a hand. He wouldn't tell me. I thought you might have some insight. We didn't hear a thing during the night. I noticed Cove was gone just minutes before you arrived. Is he alright? We're so sorry. Mr. Holden pulled his lips into a tight smile and held up his hands as if to say it wasn't their fault. He's fine. I just wanted to find out more before having another talk with him. I should have known he wasn't ready to spend the night at someone else's house. You felt bad for Mr. Holden. He looked so sad. They discussed the event for a little bit longer, your parents promising to call him if they find out more. And when Mr. Holden finally said goodbye, you heard Mom calling your name. Immediately, you panicked, wondering if you should find somewhere to hide. There was a growing sense of dread in your stomach that you were about to get into a lot of trouble. Your moms found you eventually, though you were relieved to see they didn't look very angry. They did, however, look very, very worried. Did you know Cove had gone home, Hazel? You looked up at them both, your mouth pulled into a hard line, and Mummy's eyes softened a little.
Well,
maybe he snuck out while Hazel was asleep. He got past the both of us. Is that what happened, honey? Shaking your head, you finally confessed and told them what had really happened. You didn't want Cove to get in any trouble, but you didn't want to lie to your parents either, not when they had been so worried about him. Your parents listened to you in full before they explained how dangerous it had been for Cove to wander at night on his own. Personally, you didn't think it was that bad, since Cove only lived across the road, but you didn't tell your moms that. You were already in enough trouble as it was, so when they asked you to promise to tell them something like that next time, you nodded your head in agreement. Even though it was a little unfair, you accepted the punishment that you weren't allowed to have any sleepovers until you could prove to your moms that you were responsible enough. You were determined to show them that you could be trusted. When you saw Cove next, he was sorry you had gotten in trouble. After hearing a similar lecture, Cove got away with a warning from his dad. Mr. Holden felt the negative experience was enough already, and Cove didn't need additional punishments. In the end, the two of you and your parents were eventually able to move past the ill-fated sleepover. It had all been a learning experience, according to the adults. You could accept that. There were definitely things you learned from it. Okay. That got a bit more serious and complicated than I had thought it would. But we did learn something new about Cove. Let's save here for now and take a look at one of the other vignettes next time. So, if you like this video, please leave it a like. And if you'd like to support my efforts here on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, Gentle Gaming for Wellness. It is quick and easy and doesn't cost you a thing, but it does help me a lot. Thanks so much for watching. I wish you a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the comments below.